Hi everybody, I hope you're all well. It is an absolutely beautiful Sunday morning here in the south of England. It's still only 7:15 in the morning. My washing machine is going, so if you hear funny whirling noises, it's because of that. But yeah, it's still relatively early. It's why the screen is a bit dark, but you can cope with that. Besides, it means that you don't get to see the terrible spot that I've got in my eyebrow at the moment, so see that as a win. So it's been a couple of weeks since you have seen me because I have been such a busy bee with work. It's just meant that I've been working on this massive project which has got one more week to go. And then luckily, literally the day it ends is my last day of working before I've got a week and one day off. So I'm looking forward to getting through the next 5 working days and then go, I am done and I've got my break. Yes, I've got my hospital appointment, my day at hospital, should I say, on the following Monday, but still, it's just one day and then it's done. And I'm just because I've been so busy, I've been so tired of an evening. All I've been doing is watching Grey's Anatomy in order to get me balance back again. My binge watch of Grey's Anatomy, I'm on series 10 now, so I'm getting there. I'm like halfway through. Well, no, I'm on series 10. I'm like in the early, I think I'm about 7 episodes in or something. So once I hit the end of series 10, then I'm halfway through technically, but there we go. But I'm getting there. I'm getting through them. I don't know if I mentioned it last time you saw me, but I won an award at work for all of this hard work I've been doing on this big project that I've been involved in, and I won 50 quid, and of course I blew that on books. So I bought myself 6 books, all true crime, non-fiction. So yeah, I just felt like, because I've had them sat on my Amazon wish list for so long, and I was like, how much would it cost if I combine them together? And it was £51 and I had £50. So technically I only paid £1 for 6 books. So yay, I'm going with that. But yeah, I've just been very, very busy with work and everything. And yeah, it's just been hectic, but soon I'll have my week off, which will be absolutely brilliant. And during that week, obviously I've got my day in hospital, as mentioned. I've got my birthday on the Wednesday. I'll be spending time with my parents, and then the Thursday and Friday I've booked some time off. I'm going to Bristol. Just to clarify, I've been to Bristol loads of times, but I haven't actually explored Bristol. Like I've gone there for like specific things, like stuff to do with work, that kind of thing, or gone to Bristol Hippodrome like recently to go when I went to see Wicked with my mum back in when was it? Was it January or February? I can't remember. Either way, things like that, like a day trip thing. I've gone to specific places, but I've not explored the city. Like, I've never been to the cathedral. I've never been to, oh gosh, the name's fallen out my head. Like, big shopping centre. Camber Market. I've not, that's it. Couldn't even remember the name of the place. I've never been there. So I'm like, you know what? Because I've got time off and I'm doing nothing, would I rather be sat around the house, binge watching stuff, or I could have a couple of days in the city and explore? And it's only like 45-minute train ride away. Let's do it. So I'm going to be going to Bristol for a couple of days, and yeah, and just spending the rest of my time just, having a chill and spending time with my family and enjoying turning 38. So that's my plans. But anyway, I'm going to shut up now and talk about the book I have been reading, which is The Glass Virgin by Catherine Cookson. So just to give you some information about my knowledge of this book, and it goes back to the drama set. Now, I don't know if you remember, but this time last year, I fell down the Catherine Cookson drama rabbit hole, and I actually bought this DVD set for my birthday. It was my birthday treat to myself. So yeah, I've had this for a year now, and I watched The Glass Virgin, and the first time I watched it, I found it hysterically funny. I will explain why in a bit, but there we go. The second time I watched it, and I really focused on the story, I found the story really, really fascinating, quite interesting. So I was like, okay, I'm really excited to read this book, and I finally got round to reading it. So what is The Glass Virgin about? The Glass Virgin is about a girl called Annabella. And we meet her at the beginning of the book. She's about 7 years old, and she lives a very, very comfortable life with her parents in this beautiful house. And her father owns like a glass mill and such, so that's why glass is an element of this book. And she has a completely sheltered life, and by sheltered I mean she is not allowed to go outside the walls of the gardens. She can explore the house, she can explore the gardens and such. She cannot go beyond the border of the wall that surrounds the gardens. And she's quite interested, she's quite curious about things. There also, she's got some very odd things that are going on. Again, I will go over this in a bit, in her life. And one day her father's manservant Manuel is instructed to teach how to ride a horse. Jump 10 years, and she's 17, she's just turning 18. It's like her 18th birthday, and she discovers the reason why she has never been allowed to go further than the grounds of her home. And it shakes her to the core, to the point where she runs away. She decides to run away. She's going to uncover more information about what she has learnt, and she is going to make her way in the world. And en route, she is reunited with Manuel, and it's about their relationship together. But also, he is part of a travelling community, and she gets brought into the community, and it's about the treatment of humans, society and such, and this pocket, I don't know if that's necessarily the right word, but it's the word that pops into my mind right now, of society who to this day is still treated terribly for a multitude of reasons, which I'm not going to go into, because that's I don't want to, cause any kind of like political debate and such, when that's not the point of what I'm saying. But yes, this pocket of society that she then goes into in order to discover things about the world, discover things about herself and such, and the things that she learns about herself, the human world, and also falling in love with Manuel in the process. And that's really the premise of The Glass Virgin. Now, I want to say off the bat that this book has some things happen in it which some people might find a little concerning and triggering. Let me put it that way. There are, just as I've spoken about Catherine Cookson's works, and you can explore the videos that I have done about her works from dramas and books and stuff, there are various things that she has happen in her book. It's kind of like a standard. If you've gone through a load of them, or if you've gone through the dramas, there are certain conventions that Catherine follows, and this is one of the books where those kind of conventions come in. So we have things such as sexual assaults and such being a part of the plot, and this one also has something in it which she doesn't do in any of her other books, but I totally get why she's done it for this one. and I'm going to say what it is now. It's nothing horrific, but at the same time, it's really quite fucked up. And what it is that when Annabella is a young girl, so when we first meet her, when she's like 7 years old, she has a nurse, and the nurse, when Annabella is going to have a bath, puts a blindfold over her and makes her bathe blindfolded. The reason why is because the nurse is trying to keep Annabella pure and not look at her body and have questions and have a trying to keep it be that is private and that should not be explored. So there we go. And when Annabella's mother finds out about this, she goes batshit crazy, and it's like understandable that she had no idea that this was being done to her child. Now, the whole thing with this book is about innocence. The fact that Annabella, as I said, has never gone beyond the walls of her home. She has lived a highly comfortable life. She doesn't understand the concept in a way of money. She doesn't know what it means to need a job, how much food costs, that kind of thing. She is completely shut off from all of that concept, so she's completely innocent of that. But also she's completely innocent in that because she's been so sheltered, she doesn't understand anything about anything to do with like the opposite sex and having urges and such as that. She doesn't understand any of it. So I can totally understand in this one, like having that extra element with the blindfolding and everything, that it's making sure she doesn't become sinful and such. And that was something that was an aspect of young women, especially in that time, that they had to be without sin. There couldn't be the slightest indication that there was anything sinful in their life. So I can, from that perspective and looking back on history, I can totally understand why the nurse was like that. But at the same time, it's like, oh, okay, was not expecting that. And I remember when I watched the drama, I was like, really we're doing this? It's so and obviously it's really fucked up, because obviously then she would associate cleaning her body and such with being blindfolded, that she cannot possibly like that. So there's some messed up psychological level shit happening there as well. But what that then, having read the book, made the drama all the more understandable. Now here's the thing, that when I said before, the first time I watched it, I found it hysterically funny, and the reason why is because there are so many shots of Emily Mortimer, who plays the adult Annabelle, or Brendan Coyle, who plays Manuel, bathing. As they're traveling, they find like lakes or ponds or whatever, and they bathe themselves. And there's so many shots of Brendan Coyle washing his face and doing elegant hand stuff with his face. I found that hysterical. But now that I've read the book and I totally understand more the innocence and the psychological effect of the association of bathing yourself with sin, but it becomes a way of purifying, for getting rid of all the dirt and the muck and the mess from all of the grafting and the trials of being a traveler on the road and such. It becomes a way of Annabella being able to see Manuel in a completely different way, and it's quite beautiful actually. So I went from thinking that was hysterically funny to actually really interesting on a psychological level and quite beautiful. So yeah, that's wasn't expecting that to happen, but it did. So yeah, there's some stuff in this which some people might find quite disturbing to read and possibly triggering, but I wanted to flag that this is one of these books where there are elements which follows Catherine Cookson convention. Okay. Also, the last book that I reviewed of hers was A Cinder Path, and I talked about how fast-paced it was and how it kind of did make sense because of the flow of time, and also because of the war and the thing of you don't know what's coming next and such. I could understand that pacing. Again, here, this is a very, very fast-paced book. There is a lot of stuff going on, and we're following multiple characters who are caught up in various different things, including Annabelle's parents, Annabelle herself, obviously Manuel, the travellers. There is a cousin that Annabelle thinks that she is going to marry from a young age. She believes that they're going to be married, and obviously that doesn't happen. So there's a multitude of characters who we're following and what they're doing, so it constantly feels like you're running. But in this one, it really, really works, because Annabella, as I said, she has been shut off from the world for 18 years, and then all of a sudden it is an explosion, and she is running. She is running to get the hell away from her family, and she's being pursued by her father, so she has to kind of, blend in, kind of cover up. She has to run away. She's constantly terrified that he is going to find her and take her back. And so having that motion of constantly feel like you are running, it really worked for the character of Annabella. And then there'd be these like still moments, and it's in those still moments where you have the bathing and such, and everything kind of just for a little while just you can hear silence, as it were, and then all of a sudden you're back running again. I really found that pace really quite interesting for this book, and it works so well. Now, Catherine Cookson's pacing of books, they do tend, especially around the time in the these kind of like 1970 release books, and let me just confirm that this one is from the 1970s while I say that. Yes, it was first published in 1970. It could well be because of all the stuff she was wanting to cram in, plus what the publishers wanted and such, that she didn't have the opportunity to have those extra pages. I don't know. And I have criticised in some books previously that if she had just, because she's doing too much, if she just bunged in extra pages and just brought that pace down, it would have been so much better. So I do sometimes wonder if it's more because that's what the publishers wanted, and I wonder what was edited out and such. But for this one, the pacing really, really works. I was really happy with that. When it comes to characters, sometimes I was a little frustrated with characters. I'm not going to lie. Just simply because, and again, this is a pacing versus time to be able to get to know characters problem, is that sometimes they just pop up out of the blue and it's like, oh okay, right. And it kind of feels like sometimes characters are simply there because she needs them to be there, and because we don't get time to get to know them, I don't necessarily understand, okay, why are you reacting like that? Why are you doing what you're doing? Which is what I like in my reading. But I think it's that thing, because I knew the drama, I'd already watched it multiple times and such. I had that image in my head from the drama of going, okay, who are you? Let me think. Oh yes, you're that person. And because the drama, even though it's 2 hours long, so it does allow for the space, the pacing of this, quite thin book, to cover everything, but it does have that extra breathing room to get through it. So it's almost like they've added in that extra breathing space, adds in those extra pages, like I said, to get the pace calmer and to be able to spend some time getting to know people. So I did like the characters. I just wish sometimes that we had more of a breathing space to get to know them a bit more. Like, say for example, there's multiple places that Annabelle and Manuel and the other travelers go to in order to find work, and we get to know the traveling community that she's with, because obviously she's with them for quite some time, and so is Manuel. But there are workers who we meet at these various locations, and I find them so interesting. I'm like, I want to spend some time with, tell me more about them. And he's like, nope, you don't get to do that, move on. So I would like to have had more time with those characters. Sorry, I feel like I need to sneeze. Hay fever, I know. It feels like it's going to be a hay fevery kind of a day. I'm not going to sneeze though. The urge has passed. Okay. But yeah, sometimes I just felt a little bit off tilter. But I didn't mind the characters. It was really quite visceral, especially, like I said, because of the water and the cleaning and everything. The pacing matched the story, which was great. I enjoyed reading it. I just sat yesterday and I just read through the majority of it. And it was just really quite a beautiful, soothing read, which, although there are certain elements, as I mentioned, that some people may find triggering or may find difficulty to read, I knew, because I'd seen the drama multiple times, I knew that stuff was coming, so I was prepared for that. But still, it is quite shocking when you do read it, so something for people to be aware of. But overall, it was a really good read. It's not my favourite, but I think it's probably my third favourite. I'm going to say that. So my top 3 Catherine Cookson books that I've read so far are A Dinner of Herbs, because yes. The Girl, oh my God, I loved that book and that story so much. And then The Glass Virgin. So they're my top 3 so far of her books. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So when it comes to the drama, as mentioned, there's Brendan Coyle, who's Manuel. There's Emily Mortimer, who plays Annabella, and Nigel Havers plays her father. I really like the drama. I think it's well put together. As I said, the first time I watched it, I found it hysterically funny with all of the washing and all the hand acting and all that lot. But once I have read the book, I totally understand why she finds that fascinating all the more. And it's made me appreciate it more. I think I might actually watch it after I've finished, rewatch it, shall I say, after filming this. One thing that does irritate me about that drama, and I'm sorry whoever came up with it, I am so sorry, but what the hell is the wig that Emily Mortimer is wearing? My God, it looks like there's a giant bush on her head. It's so distracting. If I could change anything, it would be that hair. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get a picture, because I did let's just have a look. It's terrible. Obviously, when she is in her her high status, that's the word. I couldn't think what the word was because I'm Googling at the same time. When she's in her high status, it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff going on in her head. Right. Okay, so that's the hair. I don't know if you can see this very right. That's when she's done up in her high status stuff, and it's like, okay, that's a lot on top of that, but I'll cope with that. Okay, right. So, right, I can deal with that. And then this is her whilst she is traveling, and I'm like, oh, honey, what have they done to your hair? Oh my God, I just like, oh my God, just let the hair down. Just don't. I found her hair so distracting through the drama. It was ridiculous. I mean, as I said, no offense to whoever came up with that and did that, and obviously who the director was. I can't think who it was off the top of my head. Clearly, they signed it off. They said that's fine, but still, it's like, just let the hair down. She's traveling. She doesn't give a shit about how she looks, okay? Just let the hair down. Let it go natural. That's just, rather than just leave it bunched up and go, okay, this is it after like 3 or 4 weeks when she's been on the run. Just leave the hair alone. But there we go. Overall, the drama is really, really enjoyable. I really do like it. And yeah, all the cast did very well in it, and overall not bad at all. And it is very well adapted. I have to give credit for all the Catherine Cookson dramas. They are really well put together, really well adapted from the books. And yes, there are some changes as you go through the various books that I've so far, but they haven't, like, they've cut out some scenes. That's really it. They haven't gone, okay, we're using the title of the book and the characters and the setting, and then we're just going to throw away the book and rewrite it. They've never done that, so I'm very, very happy with that. So those are my thoughts on The Glass Virgin by Catherine Cookson. Let's ask my usual questions while I remember. I was just about to forget and then remembered. So, would I read this again? Yeah, I think I definitely would. It was a very interesting read. Quite made me see the plot in a completely different way than the drama, and yeah, it was a good experience reading it. Would I recommend this to anyone? Yes, I would, but I would flag that there are some things that people might find uncomfortable reading or possibly triggering in this book. Would I read any more Catherine Cookson? Well, of course, because I really like Catherine Cookson, and I've got loads more of her books upstairs in my study ready to read. So those are my thoughts on The Glass Virgin. If you read this book, I'd love to know what you think. Leave me a comment in the comments box below. Give thumbs up, thumbs down, tag to your side. And I'm back with my thoughts on my next read, which is Her Husband's Mistake by Sheila O'Flanagan. This is an author who I've never come across before, and I've never read any of their works. So this will be an interesting one. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, have a good day, everyone, and I will see you when I next see you. All right then, bye.